For this project, I started with a 13.5 by 13.5 inch frame that I had picked up at a garage sale. I actually had got in two of them, and I did another bunny on the other. I spray painted it with the white paint and primer, and then I decided I didn't like the white, so I went ahead and used some green chalk paint and painted it green. And then after that had dried, I distressed it with a little bit of sandpaper, and then I used the Dixie Belle Clear Coat Satin to seal in the paint. Then after that was dry, I flipped it over after I had removed the glass and the backing, and I took Elmer's glue and I put it around the perimeter of the back of the frame. Then I replaced the glass and put Elmer's glue around one more time. This serves two purposes. It helps to hold the glass in place, and it helps to prevent resin leaks when you put resin on the other side. When you do put resin on the other side, it will permanently adhere the glass to the frame. After that had dried, I took painter's tape and I put that around the perimeter as an extra precaution against resin leaks. So to start the project, I had printed up this clip art that I had gotten off of my Cricut design space, and I cut it out and I taped it to the back of the project. Then I took clear Elmer's glue and I outlined the entire bunny butt. I thought this was so cute. I outlined the bunny butt, I outlined the feet. I actually did a double outline around the feet. And then of course I outlined the tail. And for this I'm using a 4mm rhinestone chain, and around the perimeter it's an iridescent rhinestone chain, and then around the feet and the toes and around the perimeter of the tail I'm using a 2mm pink rhinestone chain. I might have used a larger one for the tail had I had a larger one, but the pink all I had was in the 2mm. Now it's really important that you let the rhinestone chain dry completely before you put any glass in it, because the rhinestone chains will start shifting and it can cause all sorts of problems. For the next part of this project, I took Celestial Fireglass and Artist Loft Iridescent Medium, and I just took a big spoonful of it and mixed the two together in a bowl. It's in your best interest to start with a little bit and then build up, because you don't want to put too much on it. One time I mixed too much in and it really globbed and stuck together. Then you need a non-stick paper like parchment paper and spread it out as far as you can, because this is a paint and they will all stick together. You let it dry overnight, and then the next morning come back and crumble it up. You have to loosen it from the paper and crumble it between your hands, and this really does turn out real pretty. And then I just started fitting them together like puzzle pieces. I took clear Elmer's glue and put it down where I wanted the pieces, and just continued to put them in one at a time. And then I continued on to the feet and filled in both of the feet, and it really shines. It's very iridescent and shiny, and this is how it turned out. So next I took Ashland Decorative Filler, crushed, they're both called crushed glass. The larger glass is called crushed gold glass. They come in containers like that. I already had the pink, but I wanted to make it a little darker pink, so I took the Tamiya spray paint. This is Pearl Light Red, and I will leave links under the description for everything that I use in this video. And I just gave it a little coat. I wanted to make the pink a little bit darker, and also do the larger chunky crushed glass. And I am wearing a respirator when I do this, because spray paint, you really need to do it in a well ventilated area, and it's in your best interest to wear a respirator. So I took the smaller crushed glass and put it in his feet and the little toes, and then the larger, chunkier crushed glass I used for the tail. I thought that would stand up a little bit more, and I think that turned out so cute. And then again, I took some more Ashland Decorative Filler. This is the one that's out at the holidays, Kind of looks gold, but it's really called yellow glass. And I decided, at first I was going to put grass down around the bunny, and I decided I wanted it to look like dirt because I'm going to be putting carrots. I want it to look like he's in a garden. So I didn't want to get rid of all of the reflective qualities, but I did take this brown spray paint. It's called Big Shot. You could use any brown spray paint, and just went over it and then kind of mixed it around so that it wasn't totally covered, but just kind of mixed in with the other color. And that's what I ended up using to put around the bottom of the bunny rabbit. So you can see how it's still kind of sparkly, but it looks more like a garden than had I put grass down there. I think it looked good. So next I wanted to make the carrots, and what I had was some orange stained glass. And I have told you guys before that I am not a stained glass expert by any means, but I can cut simple patterns, and I learned to cut stained glass on YouTube. And there are many stained glass channels on YouTube where you can learn to cut stained glass for free. And so I went ahead and I had printed up the templates online and then cut the bottoms off because it's going to look like they're coming out, you know, growing out of the dirt. And then I just went ahead and cut them out. And I did need to smooth them out a little bit. I took them out to the garage and I used my stained glass sander and I smoothed them out. And at the same time that I was smoothing them, I went around the bottom and top edges to get the sharp edges off so that nobody would cut themselves if they tried to touch the project. And it's a real simple thing to do, and it prevents you from injuring yourself. And you do need to wear, it's really in your best interest to wear a little mask when you're doing this because there is fine glass powder that could get into your lungs. So besides wearing eye protection, you really should be wearing some type of a mask. Then I brought them inside, I washed them with soap and water, and then I took rubbing alcohol and cleaned them off with the rubbing alcohol. The rubbing alcohol will also get off any stray magic marker marks that you may have on it, whereas the soap and water may not remove them. Then after they had all dried, I placed them on the project and kind of tried to put a little bit of the crushed glass on top of it so it looked like they were coming out of the garden, growing out of the garden. I don't know that carrots stick out that much, but that's how I had them. And originally I was going to use that glass on the top, and then I went and looked at a picture of actual carrots growing in a garden, and I decided I was going to do it a little different. But I did use my Cricut to put the Happy Easter at the top. And if you do not have a Cricut, I do have a video out that shows you how to do that. So when I looked at the picture of the carrots, I saw that instead of those little chunky pieces of glass, carrots have these long strands coming out of the top of them. So I thought I'd get out the VITRIGRAPH glass and cut that. Now at thin areas of the VITRIGRAPH glass, you can actually snap it with your fingers. At the chunkier areas, you can use nippers and cut it. So this was pretty much ready for the resin now, and I did take some painter's tape and dab around on it to get any sediment off. I mixed up my resin. The resin I'm using for this project is art resin. It's a 1-to-1 ratio resin that you mix slowly in a cup for 3 minutes, scraping the sides, scraping the bottom to ensure thorough mixing. I did let this sit for a few minutes to let the bubbles rise to the top, and then I started drizzling it over the glass. Now this crushed glass, you have to make sure you get enough on it, because if it doesn't seep down, when you pick your project up after it's all set, some of that crushed glass will fall off. Anyway, I went ahead and I got it over the glass first and then put it around the perimeter, pushed it up into the corners. And then one of the problems I found was that I had some bubbles underneath the glass. So it's in your best interest to, I think it's in your best interest to put all of your resin down first and then put those carrots down after. So I was able to push some of the bubbles out, but some of them did stay under there, and I'll show you at the very end. So I put these little pieces of VITRIGRAPH glass on, and then those little green pieces that I'm putting on are actually Dollar Tree glass. And I'm just putting them up at the top. I thought that looked more realistic than the original green glass that I had on there. And yeah, I thought the VITRIGRAPH glass really worked out good. And it is in your best interest to put the resin down first. It's easier to spread it out and ensure that it's spread out more evenly if you wait to put those pieces of glass on. And then the project was pretty much done. On a flat level surface overnight. Art resin needs to cure at temperatures between 75 and 85 degrees Fahrenheit. Lower temperatures can slow the curing process. Higher temperatures can speed the curing process. After I'm done with the project, I always come back every 15 minutes and check for glass placement, to check for sediment, to check for bubbles. I usually use a toothpick to get sediment out or to move the glass around. I use a torch to get rid of the bubbles. And I continue to do this about 3 times after the project is done. I use a baby wipe to clean up around the perimeter. All resins are different. You need to read the directions for the resin that you are using.
Hey everyone, it's my little bunny butt. Didn't that turn out cute? So I guess the clip art that I used off of my Cricut was showed flowers on the side, but I thought it would be cute with the carrots. I don't know if you can see that little basket I have over there with the carrots and the little bunny in it. But anyway, so yeah, I wanted this to look more like a garden, like dirt, but I was able to, can you see it's still sparkly down at the bottom? Just put a little bit of brown on that, that glass that was originally like a gold glass. And the carrots turned out cute, and I thought they were gonna end up with bubbles under them. So, and I should know this, so when you're putting something down like this, and a stained glass, you think of it as being flat, but it is a little bit textured on the one side. This one was, you can't even see it now, so I should have been more careful as to which side I laid it on. So originally I laid the carrots down, poured it on top of it, and some resin seeped under it, so bubbles were created. So I didn't show it on the video, but I actually picked up the carrots, spread the resin underneath, and then put some on the back of it, and then laid it back down to help prevent bubbles. And I did, so there was huge bubbles at first, and then when I did that, I thought I got rid of the bubbles, and a couple formed under these two, and I thought, oh, you know, I tried to push down on them. You probably saw me pushing down to try to get the bubbles out, but I didn't even notice, and then I guess they just went away on their own. I'm not sure. So it's in your best interest when you're doing large pieces of glass like that to put the resin under it and then lay the glass on top. Anyway, I thought it was cute. And if you don't have a Cricut, I showed you in that Bumblebee video how to stencil your letters on there by placing the words behind it. Print them up on your like Microsoft Word and whatever font you want, whatever size, and put it behind the glass, and then trace it out on the front with an oil-based marker. And if you're doing it on a canvas, put your words out, but put carbon paper under it and trace it out on top, and then lift up the carbon paper, and then you have an outline to outline with your oil-based markers. I use the Sharpie oil-based markers. I like those the best. I've had problems with other kind of permanent markers running, so that's what I use. And if you're going to use something different, just put it on glass or canvas, whatever you're going to use, and test it first. So anyway, all in all, I think this was cute. It was a little time consuming coloring the different glass and that, but that Tamiya spray paint, for these really dries fast. The iridescent you really have to leave dry overnight. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the project. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. That really helps the channel. If you enjoy the channel, go ahead and subscribe. We have the Facebook group going, a very supportive group of people displaying their artwork, answering questions. Everybody tries to help everybody when they ask a question. You get 100 different answers, but you know, everybody has different ways of doing things. So anyway, come join us there, and I hope you guys all have a great day. Thanks for watching.